In order to understand how to use Excel, you really should understand how Excel cursors work. If you are in an Excel spreadsheet, look at my cursor right now. This is the standard cursor for the Excel spreadsheet. It kind of looks like a puffy plus sign. And it's going to allow you to select individual cells, like C3 here, or H2 here. It will also allow you to select multiple cells by highlighting across. I'm clicking down and I'm highlighting. And if you double click on a cell, you'll notice that that cursor changes. Now it is a blinking line, and the cursor itself inside of that box kind of looks like a stretched eye. That's saying that you're editing the contents in the cell. So I'm editing this cell. Now it's important to note that in order to edit a cell, you do not have to double click on that cell. That's actually doing extra work. You can just single click and type right over. So it's just important to notice that you don't have to double click on a cell in order to edit, and a lot of people feel like you do. If you pay attention to my cursor as I move up to the top of the columns, these are the column numbers, my cursor becomes an arrow that's pointing downward. That's telling me that I can select that entire column. So if I click on it, it's going to select the entire column. It also would allow me, if I were to hold down the button, to select multiple columns. And this 6C screen tip that you're seeing right there is telling me that I have 6 columns selected. Also, if I were to go here, you'll notice that it's still that big plus sign cursor, but this is the select all button, so when I press it, it selects the entire Excel spreadsheet. And it would allow me, if I were to move slightly to the right, in between any two of those column headings, and double click, do you see on my cursor now is a thick black arrow with 2 arrows going horizontally? That's allowing me to double click, and when I double click, it's going to automatically fit to best fit. D also fits. So A is going to automatically fit to the contents in A1. D would fit to the contents in D3. Now I'm going to undo that because later on we're going to want to change it. You can also just do any two, so I could double click in between D and E, and it would just do the resizing to column D. And you can also drag at that point, and it's showing you the column width there. That also works the same with the row numbers, except you'll notice right now that the cursor is an arrow pointing to the right, letting you know that you could select the entire row, or you can hold down that arrow and select multiple rows, and right now I have 9 rows selected. You can double click in between those, or you can pull to change the height. Now, believe it or not, there's actually more to Excel cursors than what you've already seen. If you are on an Excel spreadsheet, you can actually go to one of the cells that you've typed something in and go to the edge of the cell. You'll see that all of a sudden my cursor turns into what looks like a compass with arrows going all around. So there's a north, south, east, and west. That will allow you to drag the contents of the cell into a different cell and replace the contents. So I can drag from D3 to E7. It's going to change it. If something was in a cell, it would completely change those contents. So like if I have something in B4 and I take this type right over and I make it the compass arrow and I pull, when I let go at B4, it's going to ask me if I want to replace the contents of the destination cell, and if I hit OK, it's going to take away what was there, and now it's replaced it with what I pulled over there. Now what if you don't want to replace the destination cells? You don't want to replace the contents. You want to actually just copy something that's in one cell over into other cells. There's multiple ways to copy, and I'm actually going to expand the length of column B. You can right-click copy, right-click paste. You can Control C, Control V, or you can Pay attention to your cursors, and I'm hitting escape to get the blinking dots to go away. Pay attention to your cursor, because if I click on a cell, if you look in the bottom right corner, and you have to look hard, so I'll wind up zooming in so you can see this. This is what you call the fill handle. The fill handle is another way to copy cells. You move your mouse over it, you'll notice that it changes to a dark black plus sign. If I hold my mouse down, I can pull and it's going to copy, type right over twice. So that's called the fill handle. This right here is the autofill options. It would give you the option to fill the formatting or fill without formatting. If I choose fill, it doesn't have any formatting right now, so you can't tell what that was. That would be if I were to have this red and maybe highlighted. I want to copy it down. It's going to copy, but I can tell it to fill without formatting, and now it'll take away the red and the fill. Excel's fill handle is really good at picking up series and working with numbers. So other uses of the fill handle would be to copy and continue a series or a date series. So had I put just a 1 here and I use the fill handle, it's going to just copy 1 all the way down. However, if I put 1, 2, I highlight them both, and I were to grab the fill handle and pull down, it will continue the series of number. It also works with other patterns. So if it can detect the pattern that you're working with, so if I had done 2, 4, 6, it's recognizing that I'm doing it by 2, so I'm adding 2, and as I pull down, you'll notice that it continues to count in 2s. So it will continue series for you. It can also be huge numbers. So 5011, 5012, and then it's going to continue that down. You can also insert dates with formulas. So equals now, open and close parentheses, is going to put in today's date, and I hit enter, so it automatically inserts today's date. If you want to do a date series with the fill handle, you put in today's date, and then I could put in tomorrow's date, and then I highlight and I start copying down, and it's going to automatically start putting them down. And it does recognize if your date is in a month that's strange. So if I were to put 2/27/2011 and then I start pulling that down, it's going to recognize that it goes to the 28th, and then it goes to March 1st. So it recognizes leap years, it recognizes all of that. I hope that now you won't curse at Excel because you understand your cursors.